Alright guys, so let's go ahead and do a couple of examples of scientific method. So this is going to be your assignment for the day. You guys are going to turn in a copy. So here we've got 3 different stations. Obviously you guys are at home, so your stations are just going to be to read through them and complete them. There are 3 total stations. We're going to do station 1 together, so everybody should have the correct answers for station 1 and then also be able to use them to help you complete station 2 and station 3. So the first thing I want to do is put my name at the top so that I know who it belongs to. Obviously you'll put your name at the top. And then all you have to do is, based on your lesson today, which was scientific method, you're going to read through the scenarios and then you're going to identify the different portions of the scientific method. So we're going to do 1 through 5 together for station 1. Then you guys will do station 2 and station 3 on your own. Alright, so this is set in the world of the Simpsons, like the yellow people on Fox that has been running forever. So these are those characters that this refers to. So station 1 says that Smithers thinks that a special juice will increase the productivity of workers. He creates 2 groups of 50 workers each and assigns each group the same task. In this case, they're supposed to staple a set of papers. So these 2 groups are stapling papers. Group A is given the special juice to drink while they work. Group B is not given the special juice. After an hour, Smithers counts how many stacks of papers each group has made. Group A made 1,587 stacks, and Group B made 2,113 stacks. So what this has done has given us background information about an experiment that was run, and this is Mr. Smithers who's running the experiment, and he has followed the scientific method to test the productivity of his workers after being given a special juice. So now our job is to identify the things below. So the first thing it wants us to do is identify the control group. So remember, our control group is going to be the group that doesn't get any kind of special variable. Okay, so it would be the group under normal conditions. So we have Group A, which is given the special juice, and then Group B, which is not given the special juice. Now in this experiment, Smithers wants to test to see if the special juice increases productivity. So because the special juice is what he's testing, our control group would be the group without the juice. Okay, so no special juice. So our control group is going to be Group B, the group without the juice. Okay, because again, remember, control groups are used to help us compare our data. If we don't have a control group, our data doesn't mean anything. All right, so independent variable in this scenario, remember, independent variable is the thing that I change. In this case, it's not I, it's Mr. Smithers. So what is the variable that Smithers is manipulating? And here, Smithers is manipulating the juice. Okay, so that is the experimental variable. He's giving the juice to one set of workers to see if that juice will increase the productivity. Okay, so the juice is what he is manipulating. It's what he's giving the workers. It's the independent variable. And let me make these bold really quick so you guys can see the answers a little bit better. All right, next we want to identify our dependent variable. Now our dependent variable changes in response to the juice, right? So another way to look at it is what we measure in the experiment. So in this experiment, Smithers gives the group the juice, which is the independent variable. And what he measures, it says after an hour, Smithers counts how many stacks of papers each group has made. So he's measuring their productivity. Okay, so you could say the productivity or you could say how many papers were stapled by each group. Okay, those are both the same thing. It doesn't really matter how you word it, as long as you understand that the dependent variable changes in response to the independent variable. So again, we're measuring if the productivity of the workers changes in response to being given the juice. So the juice is the independent, what we manipulate, and the dependent is what's being measured. So question 4 asks us, what should Smithers' conclusion be? And here we have to look at our data. Remember, anytime we draw conclusions at the end of an experiment, we want to support it with our data that we got from the experiment. So Group A made 1,587 stacks, and Group A was given the special juice. Group B made 2,113 stacks, and Group B was not given the special juice. So the group that did not get the juice actually was more productive, right? So Smithers should conclude the juice did not improve the productivity of the workers because the control group was actually more productive than the group that received special juice. This is demonstrated the fact that Group B stapled, how many was it? 2,113, and oops, sorry, my typing's all over the place. And Group A only stapled 1,587. So this would be a really good way to answer this question because, again, you are taking the data directly from the experiment and you are using that to help support your conclusion. Okay. And question 5 says, how could this experiment be improved? One way that this experiment could be improved would be by adding more groups. So we're going to add more experimental groups. And what I mean by that is that Smithers only tested 2 groups. So he tested a juice group and he tested a non-juice group. But he didn't really say how much juice he gave them. So we're not really sure if there were constants or variables in this experiment. And he might have gotten better data if he had had a control group, of course, without the juice, and then like a group that drank 1 cup of the juice, and then an additional group that drank 2 cups of the juice, and then an additional that drank 3 cups, because then he could actually measure if there was any correlation between how much juice that the workers were ingesting and how it increased their productivity or not, versus just having 2 different groups. Also, it doesn't really state what other constants were here, because sometimes there are other variables that can impact your experiment. So just something to be mindful of as you're going through and you're reading these situations and these experiments. So now that you have your answers, you can use this as the example to go on and help you with Station 2 and then Station 3. And when you are done, all you got to do is upload to Canvas, and I'll be able to grade your assignment directly in this document. Remember, when you upload, when you click Share, you want to make sure you're changing the restriction to anyone with the link can view. And that will ensure that I can actually open your document and grade it. Of course, if you have any questions, let me know. And if not, I'll see you guys in the next lesson.